All right, we're getting close here, people. Man, I'm not as psyched. I'll show you this a little closer here in a second of how I've had to do the valves, and I'm sure there's a different way to do it. I could probably have moved the deionizer down, but I'm really psyched how this is coming out. Hope it works. Right, so I'm going to open up the pre-orders tonight. You know, when I do this video. So if you're watching this at some point in the future, you can probably buy it, and it's probably been version 2.0 and 3.0 have come out. But let me just give you an idea of where we're at on this. And this is the first product that I've developed live with you guys in life, right? So you've seen Instagram photos, you've seen pictures, you've seen things on Facebook, you've seen me making YouTube videos, you saw me testing out other pressure washers, and so you've watched the process and you've learned how much of a pain this is, and how I can't explain to you how much. I mean, this, let's say this thing, I'm going to add it up here tonight, but let's say it costs $1,800. I've spent a lot more, 2 or 3 times that, maybe not 3 times that, but thousands more to buying and trying. I've bought 4 hose reels. I've only done the 1 hose, but that's because I have 6 other hoses that I bought. You know, what quick disconnects do you need? I bought 4 or 5 of these hoses, these stainless hoses, to get this figured out. I bought all kinds of a whole case of Prevost stuff over there because I think I'm going to use and be able. I do think I'm going to be able to offer a piping solution for you, so I can get you, I want to get you 90% of the way there. That's the hope, is I can get on this custom install solution, I can get you 90% of the products, and then you just have to get it the final 10%. Because figuring out the products is the hard part, and I'm sure some of you, a very, very small percentage of you, can do this in your sleep. But there's a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of desire that comes from putting together something like this. So we have the OG spec Krensler K1322 TS, which is 1,300 psi, 2.1 gallons per minute, and should operate on a 15 amp circuit. Again, I'm suggesting that you go 20. I don't have dedicated, but it's close to dedicated. I don't have anything else on this circuit, so I should be dedicated 20 just to be safe. I've got a T316 flexible, ultra flexible stainless line that is 3/4 in size. So the internal diameter of the hose is 3/4. It's much fatter than that, which is coming down to all my 1-inch size Prevost piping. So input flow is certainly not going to be an issue. T304 stainless bend here. I've got it to a quick disconnected so we can take it off if you want to detach the pressure washer. Again, this isn't super modular, but you could get it detached in, I don't know, a minute and a half. So something we can do. Let me grab the other camera, and I'm going to get you in closer and show you this stuff a little bit better. All right, so here's a closer look at what we're dealing, or what I'm talking about here. So I decided to do quick disconnects as an option so that I could easily pull the quick disconnects out of place and take my pressure washer. Now, I've cut the power cord. Disclaimer, I would recommend you not do that unless you're qualified to. But I did shorten the power cord. You can see my limited skill set, but I am extra taped here is why it may not look quite as pretty as I would have liked. But the Krensler K1322 TS is what we have on the shelf. I have this shelf custom made. I decided not to have pre-drilled holes. I'm telling you guys, don't freak out. It's super simple to just make a little dot, grab a drill, and even if you have limited skills, if you can mount the shelf on the wall, you can easily get the bolts that I'm going to supply, or the nuts. The bolts and wing nuts that I'm going to supply here for you. So there's our wing nut up underneath. You can see 2 of them. And so I just torqued them down by hand, and that will ensure that the pressure washer never vibrates off the shelf. It probably never would have anyway, but nonetheless we did that so that we're safe. So we've got a quick disconnect here, so that you can easily pop the pump off and go take it and wash your back porch if you wanted to. Again, 1,300 psi, 2.1 gallons per minute. The reason why it's such low pressure is that we want this to operate on a 15 amp circuit. When you're using your foam cannon, it may pop You could put a larger orifice on your foam can, and I wouldn't recommend that. Instead, I would recommend just getting a bigger, making sure you have a 20 amp circuit in order for this to work. I've got a couple of recommendations here when you mount yours. So here's the shelf. I have 2 1/4 off the end. I would actually put it another quarter inch closer. You can see I do have a slight bend outward on my inlet hose onto the pressure washer shelf. So I'm going to supply this with a 3-foot hose. I used a 2-foot hose. Unless you guys start screaming at me in the comments, a 3-foot will work as well, and it will be a little more pliable, and then would give you the option to move the hose reel down if you wanted to do it in a little bit different position than I did. I will be providing, these are T304 stainless anti-vibration straps. They're snug fit as well, so they grab it pretty tightly. I will also be providing 2 of the 3/8 size for your power cord, so that'll come with the kit. And then these both have wing nuts as well on either side, so you're good. Cox hose reel. So the reel, just to show you operation, my swivel very nice and neatly works. And I'll just shut up for a second here, but listen to the hose reel. It's just smooth, stout, I'm telling you. It winds so nicely. This is a Cox reel. It doesn't look as pretty as some of these other fancier, Chinese made reels, but American made. This sucker, powder coated steel, is great. Nice, compact. I know a lot of you have asked, well, why don't we do a automatic winding reel like we're doing? Remember HOC Captain Chris here. Remember? So we have, winding hose reels like we would use for a compressor. I don't like that for pressure washer hose. Pressure washing hose is much less pliable. So, take my recommendation for what it's worth. I would suggest that we stick with this type of hose reel rather than an auto, retracting one. It's just harder to deal with, doesn't wind as neatly. So if I were you, I would stick with this manual reel. We have a drag setting on the side here. It's a really smooth piece of equipment. So this is where it gets a little controversial, and you could choose to do it my way or not, but I wanted to use my Prevost Airlines. I've done some research. I think we're okay with deionized water and aluminum. I think aluminum is very, I don't want to say repellent, but less susceptible to leaching from deionized water, so I think we should be okay. This is pretty high quality aluminum. We're going to find out in my garage. I hope to be able to offer this solution, but when I initially launch the package, it's going to be the shelf, the compressor, all of the hardware that you'll need, minus the screws to mount to your wall, the hose, the quick disconnects, the Mosmatic gun and wand we'll talk about here in a second. We'll give you the option to buy the Mosmatic wand holder. That's going to hold us up a while. Those will probably be coming in about a month and a half. I about have them have a heart attack that they have to make all these stainless holders. I bought 100 of them, so we should have them, but they're going to take a little time to get. The CR Spotlesses are available as well too. So the CR Spotless is not included in the $1,800-ish. I'll have pricing in the store, but that you can add very easily if you want to, and I do source those. So the Cobra Jet hose is fantastic. Comes with a 100-foot hose, which should function just fine. So our Mosmatic wand, I'm cheating here. This is the new wand. Here's the wand. The new wand won't be available for probably 3 more months. So it will be including the standard, Mosmatic, or my standard Mosmatic kit with the proper size orifice nozzle on the end. We'll have a 4.0 size orifice nozzle, all quick disconnected. We'll include the foam cannon and everything. You'll be able to pull out things like the foam cannon if you already have that, or you already have the Mosmatic gun and wand. We can pull that out of the package as well. But man, check it out. Pretty sick. So that's the system. I'll talk more about the piping. The only thing I'm not pleased with, since I did 1 inch, it gets tight here, and because the inlet is on the left side, we can't put the valve in the middle like I did on my other pressure washer. So I'll be talking more about this as I have more information. Plumber's coming. It's going to work with me on getting the rest done. I'm also going to be doing a Prie hose bib. If you've never seen these, oh my gosh, they're fantastic. Check this sucker out. They only make anti-siphon and anti-freeze versions, so even though I don't need that here in Florida, these are the only hose bibs I've ever found quarter turn that I've ever found acceptable to me. Really stout, great piece of craftsmanship. So we'll be putting this on the outside of the the OGHQ. This will be hard plumbed. So anyway, I'm wrapping up the project. I'll be opening up for pre-orders tonight. So I'll put a link in this video. It's in the card up in your top right, and of course at the end of the video there will be another link reminding you of this being available. If you need custom specifics, if you need me to remove the gun because you already have it, or don't want to do a certain part or piece of this, just let me know and I'll be able to remove it for you or credit you back. So these are going to be in limited supply. Hose reels are due in about 2 weeks. Shelves are due in about 3 weeks. Mosmatic wand holders are probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks. But the pressure washer I think will be shipping here quickly if you get your order in as soon as possible. So anyway, thanks for supporting me, and stay tuned for more updates on this. I'll have a final wrap-up video when I get this thing up and running. I'll show you how it works and demonstrate it. Thanks for watching. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.